Hey, if you play guitar in a worship team and you're ready to take your playing to the next level and really feel more confident on the fretboard, then this video series will help you do just that. We'll be diving deep into the world of triads and we'll explore how these simple yet super powerful chord structures can totally revolutionize your worship guitar playing. Now, whether you're a beginner or even an experienced player looking to enhance your skills, this series is perfect for you. And in the first video, we'll be covering the basics of triads so we can lay a solid foundation for all of the exciting tricks and techniques that we've got coming up in the upcoming videos. So go ahead, grab your guitar, and let's get started. So why are triads so important? Well, you see, triads form the harmonic foundation of most worship songs and even most songs in general. And by understanding triads, you can better understand the structure and the progression. In other words, the way the chords are formed as it relates to the songs that you are playing. And that's really important because most guitar players, they're just going to blindly play chords without really understanding what's going on harmonically, and triads can help you solve that. The second thing is that triads can be used in a variety of ways in worship music. You can strum them, you can pick them by playing arpeggios, and you can even create lead lines with triads. Let's have a quick look at each one of those three things right now. So as you can see, they are pretty versatile in the sense that you can strum them, you can pick them, you can even use the notes within triads to come up with some cool lead lines. We'll be diving deeper into how you can apply the triads, but for now, let's stay on course and look at what triads are, how they are built, and why you need them. The third thing is simplicity. You see, triads are simple enough to be easily understood and applied by beginners, yet they offer enough depth to remain relevant and useful to even more advanced players. And in fact, once you have a strong grasp on triads, then you can start exploring some more advanced chord types such as seventh chords or extended chords and even altered chords, and all of these things are built on the basic structures of triads. Most of the awesome guitar parts that you hear on the recordings played by some of your favorite guitar players, they most likely are just using triads as their foundation. So now that we understand three awesome reasons for why you need to use triads, what we can do now is turn our attention to the next part of the video, which is all about what exactly are triads. Now, triads are the most basic type of chord in music. They contain just three notes, which is the root note, and that note gives the chord its name. You then have the third, which determines whether that chord is a major or a minor chord, and then finally, you have the fifth, which is the most stable note in the triad after the root, and that really just helps to reinforce and tie everything together as it relates to the chord's overall sound. And in fact, you already know how to play triads. Let me go ahead and show you right now. So if I play a G chord like this, or a C chord, or an E minor chord, or a D chord, which is that progression that I played just a minute ago, these are what we call triads. Now you might say, hang on a minute, Charles, I thought you said triads only have three notes, and when you play a G chord or an E minor chord like that, we are playing 6 notes. Let's go ahead and look at that. Yes, I am playing 6 strings, but there's only 3 notes in each one of these chords. Let's have a look. Here we have G, which is G, B, D, G, which I've already had, D, I've already had, and G, I've already had. So you can see we just have some repeated notes. But in total, we only have 3 notes. For C, C, E, G, C is a repeat, E is a repeat. 5 notes that I'm playing, but you are only hearing 3 different kinds of notes with 2 of them being repeated. Same with E minor, E, B, E, G, B, E. 6 notes that I'm playing, but it's only 3 notes, E, G, and B, and the same for D. D, A, D, F sharp. So D, F sharp, A. It's literally just those 3 notes, and these are, like we said, the most simple chords in music, and as you can see why, because they are based around the concept of triads. But for our purposes, we want to look at purely playing triad shapes where we are only playing 3 shapes like I showed you for the beginning of the video. And you might even see that this D shape that I'm playing there is a triad, and it comes from the full D chord. We'll look into that a little bit later, but for now I want to turn our attention to how the triads are built so that you can understand how to construct a triad and actually see what the 3 notes are within the chord that makes it a triad. Alright, now to construct a triad, you're going to start with the root note, and then you're going to add the 3rd and the 5th notes from the corresponding scales. So for example, if you want to build a C major triad, then we'll need to look at what the C major scale is. Now before I get into that, this is just to show you the origin of triads. You wouldn't have to do that every time, because at the end of this video, you will know exactly how to play the shapes. You can just memorize the shapes, and they will automatically use the theoretical side that I'm about to explain. By the way, if you want to get a cheat sheet of all these triads, you can just go ahead and check the description for a link, as well as check out our Triads masterclass. So, starting with the C major scale, I'm going to play it on the B string over here. That is my C major scale. Now, if I take the first note, which is C, the 3rd note, 1, 2, 3, which is E, and the 5th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is G, that means I have C, E, and G. And when I put C over there, I leave the E there and I put G over there, then I get a C triad. C, E, G. And remember what we had before, C, E, G, C, E. So that's an open chord making use of triads, and there I have the C triad just like that. Now if I want to look at a G triad, then I will do the following. I'll say G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. That's my major scale for G. If I take the first note, it's a G note. If I take my 3rd note, G, A, B, it's a B note. And if I take my 5th note, G, A, B, C, D, then I have the 5th, which is D, and I have G, B, and D. And when I play G, B, and D together, I get the triad, and over here, G, B, D, G, D, G. So that's how you build the triads. You take the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th notes of a major scale to give you a major triad. So that's a major triad. How do you then create a minor triad? Well, what you're going to do there is you're simply going to lower the 3rd by a half step, and in the case of C minor, the E will become an E flat. So then instead of C, E, G, I've got C, E flat, G. So that's simply by flattening the 3rd that I get a minor chord. In this case, it's a C minor triad. And you might already know how to do this. If you take A major, if you take your A major scale, A, B, C sharp. So there's my C sharp, which is my 3rd. So A, C sharp, E, A, C sharp, E. Now look, if I play an A minor shape, then I have A, C, E. So you simply flatten your 3rd, which means you go down 1 fret, and then that's going to give you an A minor chord in this instance. So now let's look at shapes to make it easy for you to learn all over the guitar. Now on the guitar, triads can be played in various positions and inversions all across the fretboard. And by learning these different shapes, that's the key to really unlocking the full potential of the guitar. Again, you can get that cheat sheet for the triads right there in the description. So now let's look at inversions. I can play these same 3 notes that I've just shown you in various ways and combinations across the fretboard, and this is referred to as inversions. What I'm going to show you right now is how to play the inversions. So for my first triad, I had C, E, and G, which I can play C, E, and G. I can also play C, E, and G. C, E, G. So it's a root note, the third note, and a fifth note, which gives me this shape or that shape. But I can also start on my third note. So instead of going C, E, G, I can go E, G, C. And then in this case, E, G, C can be played here, E, G, C, or E, G, C. So this will then be known as our first inversion. Can you see it's still the same three notes, but instead of playing C, E, G, which is a root position, I'm starting on the root. Now I'm playing E, G, C, E, G, C, and that's a first inversion. So now I've got third, fifth root. Now I can also go G, C, E. And in this case, G, C, E. Then I'm starting on the fifth, which then makes it the second inversion. So I have my root position. I have my first inversion. And I have my second inversion. And I can then organize them with these shapes. C major, root position. C major, first inversion. C major, second inversion. When I play the root position, C is my lowest note. When I play the first inversion, C is my highest note. And when I play the second inversion, C is the middle note. So you can just see how the notes are the same across the guitar. So these are the three inversions. Root position, first inversion, second inversion. Again, you can get all the cheat sheets right there in the description. Now if I take this C like this, and I make the E and E flat, I get C minor, root position. If I take this one, and I take C to E to E flat, I get C minor. And if I take this position, E to E flat, I get the C minor triad, second inversion. So root position major, root position minor. First inversion major, first inversion minor. Second inversion major, second inversion minor. And now what I've got is I've got three shapes across the neck to play a major triad or to play a minor triad. So in summary, the inversions are as follows. I've got root, third, fifth. For the root position, or I've got third, fifth root. For the first inversion, and then I've got fifth root third. For my second inversion. Now remember, the notes of the triads will remain the same in each inversion. It's just the order that we are changing, and by inverting these triads, you might ask, why do you want to invert them? Well, it's because they allow you to create some smooth transitions between chords when you have these different voicings at hand, and that's going to help you to maintain a consistent harmonic structure of what you are playing. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean with smooth transitions. If I'm only going to use my root position triads to play G, C, E minor, D, then it will look like this. G, C, E minor, D. G, C, E minor, and D. And that sounds okay, but it's these big jumps. It's like you're just moving one shape up and down the guitar neck. Instead, I can do this. G, C, E minor, and D. G, C, E minor, and D. Or G, C, E minor, and D. So that way, if I put on some delay over here, you can hear that I'm going to get a much smoother sound when I change my chords. Because all the notes exist in the same place. Or G, C, E minor, and D. Or lastly, G, C, E minor, and D. You can hear, since all the notes are close to each other, the transitions sound much smoother, and we have something at work here which is called voice leading. So we're just kind of keeping the notes close to each other so that it's not these big jumps in between chords. Again, if I play all root positions, G, C, E minor, and D, it's okay, but it's jumping all over the neck. Or if I just do first inversions, G, C, E minor, D, it's too big of a jump and it doesn't sound like a smooth, cohesive way to play your chord transitions. So there we go. Now we've gone ahead and looked at why you need triads, what they are, and then how to play them on the guitar along with the inversions. And again, you can go ahead and grab the cheat sheet in the description. And when you know how to use these inversions, you can actually play the same progression in 3 distinct different parts of the guitar neck, which is a great way to unlock other parts of the neck using the same notes and the same chords. So congratulations on completing this first video in our Triad series. You now have a solid understanding of what triads are, how they're built, and how to play them across the fretboard. Now, if you want to reinforce your learning or take your skills even further, be sure to grab that Triad cheat sheet in the description or check out the link to our upcoming Triad masterclass. All the links are waiting for you there in the description. And then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because we will give out the notifications for the upcoming videos in this series, where we're going to take the basics of what we've looked at and we'll explore 5 cool Triad tricks that you can use to add some depth and melody and sophistication to your worship guitar playing. So go ahead and subscribe and get notifications for when we release those videos. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to learn more about tone, this is a great video to check out.